Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. We got a loaded show coming up for you guys today. The Vikings did sign a wide receiver. We'll tell you who that is, give you guys some information about him. Then also, trading for Dak Prescott. I know what you guys might be saying. Hell no, hell no, hell no. I'll kind of explain why it could happen and why I am actually against it. But then also, Brian Flores. It's actually looking like he's staying with the Vikings, so we'll dive in kind of his situation at the tail half of today's video. But guys, this is why you got to make sure you guys are subscribed. It is rumors season here at Chat Sports, and nobody covers them better than we do. Even if it's a ludicrous rumor like Dak Prescott, we'll break it down, and we will have you guys posted. And hey, we're also closing in on 22,000 subscribers. Help me out here. Do it for Harrison Smith, number 22. He's been rocking it for the Vikings for the last 12 seasons. We just need 53 of you guys. If you guys haven't already, help me out. Make me look good for my bosses out there. Hit that sub button. I would really, really appreciate it. Let's kick it to Tom Pelissero here, who had this news yesterday. As he said, the Vikings are signing wide receiver Daylen Baldwin to a futures contract per his agent, James Peterson at Peterson Sports. So pretty interesting. Vikings are already starting to make their moves, starting to sign people to futures contracts, and you guys are going to see this a ton during the offseason. Another reason to subscribe. But let's dive into Daylen Baldwin here. Just get to know him a little bit. We'll just be quick on him because Vikings wide receiver room is always loaded. Even with, Jefferson, Addison, we got a bunch of names. Even a guy like Tristan Jackson, he's been around the team for a while. But this guy could just be another nice depth piece. He's 6'2", 212 pounds. He started off at Jackson State, didn't play there due to injuries, transferred to Morgan State, didn't play there due to injuries, and went to Michigan. He actually had only over 250 yards in his whole collegiate career. Ran a 4.7 40-yard dash, so he's not the fastest guy, not the most athletic, but he's got good size, could be a good possession receiver. Overall, the only thing I've heard from him is he's a really good dude, good locker room guy, and that's why he was able to kind of move around college a little bit. Any teammate that I've heard talk highly about him. So a little backstory on Daylen Baldwin. But now let's dive into the juicy stuff here. Should the Vikings target Dak Prescott? So as you guys do know, the Cowboys did just lose to the Green Bay Packers. Shout out to them. It looks like the Pack have another franchise quarterback. I just can't believe that is the case. You go for Brett Favre, the Rodgers. Now Jordan Love looks like he's next up. Pretty disappointing. But should the Vikings target Dak Prescott? Let's talk about it. So like I said, the Dak fell to 2-5 in the playoffs following Sunday's loss, 48-32 versus the Packers. And right now, as it stands, Dak is on the final year of his 4-year, $160 million contract. He does turn 31 years old in July. So the Cowboys could be looking at an upgrade from that spot, and they could look to trade him. And obviously with Kirk Cousins, he does not have a deal with the Vikings for next season. Maybe the Vikings say, we got to go get a guy like Dak. Looking at his stats over the past 4 seasons, listen, Dak is a regular season baller. Me and my man, producer Tex, were just talking about it before, and Tex is a big-time Cowboys fan. Listen, he was telling me, he was like, Dak's great during the regular season. He can perform. But once postseason comes around, his game just kind of takes that step back. But, this year in the regular season, 36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, almost 70% completion percentage, over 4,500 yards. There's a big reason he was top 3 in MVP voting pretty consensusly around NFL media. Even the year before that, 23 touchdowns and 15 picks, 37 touchdowns and 10 picks. He's had great regular seasons. He's just fallen short in the playoffs a couple of times. So I know you may be saying, well, how could the Vikings trade for him? What would it cost? Here it is, a pre-June 1st trade, because there's going to be 2 options. You can either trade for him pre-June 1st or post-June 1st. This is the pre-June 1 trade. So his base salary in 2024, if you trade for him, not bad, $29 million. But it's that dead cap right there. That would be $61.9 million. That's what the Cowboys would be taking on. And then their cap savings would actually be less than $2.4 million. So that is pre-June 1st. Let's kick it to post-June 1st now if you want to trade for Dak. Very similar. $29 million base salary, but that dead cap is the big difference. It pretty much pushes the dead cap from 2024, where it's all right there, and they kick $36.4 million of it to the 2025 dead cap, which saves them $34 million in 2024. So most likely, if this trade is going to get done for the Vikings, Cowboys are not going to trade him probably till after June 1st, which makes it almost impossible to trade for him because the Vikings are going to go through free agency. They're going to go through the NFL draft. They're either going to figure out, do we want Kirk? Yes or no? Do we draft a quarterback? Yes or no? and then Dak would be up for, debate. So again, it is less than 0.1% likely that Dak's the quarterback for the purple and gold. Just kind of want to talk about it. Heard amongst Vikings media members that just kind of throwing it out there. I think it's a dumb idea, but you really never know, what can happen in the NFL. We've seen quarterbacks move all over the place. But in terms of picking a quarterback, this is something I am so kind of confident about, and just kind of I'm going to name my take here. I think Kirk is a way better quarterback than Dak Prescott. I want you guys to pick one right now. I'm assuming most of you guys would be typing 8s, but maybe you think Dak's better, and maybe you're in that camp. Let's wait till after June 1st and go get Dak Prescott, and he is that big piece to get us over the hump. I may think you're crazy, but hey, you guys have a right to your opinion. That's why I love getting down there in the comments and chopping it up with you guys. Type 8 if you think Kirk's better, or type 4 if you think Dak Prescott's better. I better see 1,000 8s in the comments section on today's video. Show Kirk some love. Dude's been an absolute baller over the last couple of years. Coming up here in a second, we're going to be talking about Brian Flores. I thought there was no way the Vikings could keep him. Well, it's starting to look like more and more likely he will be the defensive coordinator for the purple and gold next season. But first, I do want to give a big-time shout-out to PrizePicks. My favorite app on my phone right here is PrizePicks. If you guys head to prizepicks.com/CLNS, use promo code CLNS. You're going to get a first deposit match all the way up to $100. PrizePicks, it's daily fantasy made easy, and you choose a lineup by choosing two or more players, choose more or less, just like you guys see on screen right now. I'm going more than 237.5 passing yards for Josh Allen this weekend. I think that number is ridiculously low, so I'm going more on that. I'm going to ride Schultze, the Texans tight end, and I'm going to go more than 36.5 receiving yards. Then Aaron Jones, I think he's going to come back down to reality. Going against that Niners front, I'm going to go less on his rushing yards. But PrizePicks, daily fantasy made easy. You guys can either ride with my picks or fade my picks, but do it at PrizePicks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS. Put that link for you guys in the comment section and description of today's show. Get hooked up today. I love using it. You guys will too. PrizePicks, daily fantasy made easy. Is Brian Flores staying with the Vikings? Well, as it stands right now, he's got no head coaching interviews, which, obviously, like, my personal side of me, I want Brian Flores to, get back into that head coaching kind of sphere and be a head coach, because I think he deserves it. I think he's a hell of a defensive coordinator. But personally, as a Vikings fan, and selfishly, clap it up. I'm happy he doesn't have any head coaching interviews, because I want him being the DC for next season. Big reason why, I thought the Vikings defense played great this year. I don't know what you're saying. Like, these numbers, it's not like they're top 10 and everything, top 5 and everything, but you take what the Vikings were last year. If you guys watch this channel last year, when I showed this graphic on screen, the Vikings, it was like 31st, 30th, 31st, 32nd, 31st. Like, the Vikings were terrible on defense last year. With pretty much the same personnel, obviously making a couple of changes here and there. I mean, he completely turned this defense around. 15th in yards. Obviously, pass defense was struggling. I can chop that up to the lack of just talent in the secondary. Rush defense, pretty solid in the top 10. Points per game, sitting at 13th. Clap it up. Vikings were 30th last year. Third down percentage, a lot lower than I thought it would be. I think he kind of got a little too cute sometimes on third downs, but, that's whatever. But overall take with him, he got the most out of this defense. I don't think there was a lot of talent on this side of the football. Besides a guy like Danielle Hunter, he was the only real dog that we had, only true little all-pro level player. But besides that, Vikings didn't really have a lot of guys, especially that secondary. I mean, Byron Murphy, I liked him in free agency. I don't want to call him a bust signing, but he is nowhere near the CB1 that we thought he was going to be. Let's talk about even another guy like, I love Harrison Smith. He completely took a step back this year. He looks like he's just out of his prime. I like the safeties with Cam Bynum and Josh Metellus, but I can chalk that up to Brian Flores. The linebackers, look what he did with Ivan Pace Jr. Look what he did with Jordan Hicks, where Jordan Hicks last year with Ed Donatel looked like a cooked product. With Brian Flores, he looks like one of the better linebackers in the league. No real dogs on the defensive line. I just bring Brian Flores back, and we could get another year like we had out of Danielle Hunter. I mean, Danielle Hunter this year, under the Brian Flores system, he got better, and I honestly didn't think it was possible. 16.5 sacks this year. He even had 2 PBUs, putting hands up in the passing lanes. But the number one stat on screen right now, 23 tackles for loss. If you could ever kind of nitpick Danielle Hunter's game, it would be like he is not that good in the run game. Well, he had 23 TFLs this year, 85 pressures. He was awesome, and he had a career year, and multiple players had career years. That's also my point. Look at Josh Metellus. He was a rotational safety for this unit, and I thought he was one of the biggest Pro Bowl snubs this year. He filled the stat sheet. He played every position on defense. You want to know why? It's because of Brian Flores. So Kwesi, the Wilfs, whatever you have to do to keep Flores in Minnesota, give him some money under the table. Whatever you got to do, keep him here. He needs to be the defensive coordinator. I will pound this table for it because I don't want to go back to a guy like Ed frickin' Donatel. Big reason why the Vikings lost that playoff game, man. But overall, Brian Flores, shout out to you. I showed him some love. I want you guys to show him some love as well. Type those skull flows down below. If you guys tuned into our watch parties this year, you guys know what that's all about. But type the skull flows, show him some love. Maybe he comes across this video. Maybe one of his family members does, and he looks in the comments and sees 1,000 skull flows. Let's do it. Type those skull flows down below, and make sure you guys are subscribed here to the channel. Like I was just saying, offseason here. Offseason is here. No matter what the rumor is, we got you covered. We'll make a video for you guys ASAP. Hit that sub button. Help us out, and we'll see you guys next time. Skol Vikes.